Chosen ones, they are approaching fast, no signs, no warnings before they arrive. Listen closely and do not allow your attention to drift even for a moment, because something deeply important is unfolding around you right now. Something gentle yet powerful that carries the touch of God's hand in a way you may not immediately recognize. This is not noise, not coincidence, not ordinary timing, but a sacred movement that is quietly drawing closer to your life without loud signals or visible signs, and if your heart is not open, you may miss the very blessing that was meant to change everything within you. There is a holy nearness, a soft arrival, a divine approach that does not shout but whispers into your spirit with warmth, peace, and a love that feels almost too personal to explain. Type 2222 if you believe. You are not here by accident, and this moment is not random or empty, because God has been carefully guiding your steps through places you did not understand and through emotions you could not fully explain. What is approaching does not come with warnings or dramatic signals, because it is not meant to frighten you but to transform you quietly from within, just as light slowly fills a dark room without asking permission or creating noise. There is a reason your heart has been feeling something different lately, a quiet pull, a soft awareness, a gentle shift that cannot be fully described but can be deeply felt in your soul. Before you go any further, pause for a second and gently support this moment by leaving a like, because this simple act helps this message reach someone else who may be waiting for the same comfort, the same hope, and the same quiet reassurance that God is near and working behind the scenes in ways no one else can see. God is not always loud when He moves, and often the most powerful changes come in silence, without warning, without visible preparation, and without any sign that something life-changing is about to arrive. This is how He protects His plans, keeping them hidden from doubt, from fear, and from anything that could try to interrupt what He has already decided will bless you at the right time. What is approaching you carries peace, carries restoration, carries answers that you have been quietly hoping for, even when you stopped speaking them out loud. There have been days when you felt overlooked, when it seemed like nothing was moving, when silence filled your thoughts and you wondered if anything was truly happening at all. Yet even in those quiet moments, God was arranging, aligning, and preparing something that would not need announcement or warning, because it would arrive exactly when your heart was ready to receive it. This is not about speed or urgency in the way the world understands it, but about perfect timing that unfolds without pressure and without confusion. The ones who are chosen often walk through seasons where nothing seems clear, where answers feel delayed, and where the path ahead looks uncertain and still. Yet those are the very moments where God is working most deeply, shaping your spirit, strengthening your faith, and preparing your heart for something that cannot arrive until you are ready to hold it with peace instead of fear. What is coming does not rush in with noise, because it belongs to a different kind of timing, a timing that is calm, steady, and filled with quiet certainty. You may not see signs, and you may not receive warnings, but your spirit has already begun to sense the nearness of something different, something gentle, something filled with God's presence in a way that feels both new and familiar at the same time. This is how divine movement often feels, not overwhelming, not chaotic, but deeply peaceful, like a calm wave that reaches the shore without disturbing the stillness around it. Type 2323 to claim miracles. What is approaching you carries healing in ways you may not expect, not always through visible changes, but through inner peace that settles your thoughts and softens your worries. It brings clarity where confusion once lived, and it replaces fear with a quiet confidence that does not need to prove itself to anyone. This is how God restores, not by forcing change, but by gently leading your heart into a place where everything begins to feel lighter, calmer, and more aligned with His love. There is no need to rush or to search for signs, because what is meant for you will find its way to you, without effort, without struggle, and without confusion. God does not lose track of what belongs to you, and He does not delay without purpose, because every moment of waiting has been shaping something within you that is just as important as what is coming toward you. You are being reminded in this moment that you are not forgotten, not overlooked, and not left behind, because what is approaching has already been set into motion long before you became aware of it. It is moving quietly, steadily, and perfectly, guided by a love that understands you completely and holds you gently through every step of the journey. What is approaching has already touched your spirit in small ways, in subtle feelings, in calm thoughts that appeared without effort, and in a sense of peace that came unexpectedly, even when nothing around you had changed. This is how God begins to prepare your heart, not through noise or sudden events, but through a quiet inner shift that makes you feel safe, even when you do not yet see the reason for it. There were days when everything felt uncertain, when your thoughts carried questions you could not answer, and when your heart searched for reassurance, but found only silence. Yet even in those moments, something deeper was happening beneath the surface of your understanding, something patient and intentional that did not need your awareness to continue unfolding. God was not absent in those times, and He was not distant or silent in a way that meant you were forgotten, because His presence often works most powerfully when it is felt rather than seen. What if abundance had always been influenced by a hidden brain signal, buried in classified records and never fully disclosed to the public? This frequency is now creating new pathways, attracting opportunities, and reshaping lives faster than expected. Thousands are already using it to draw wealth like never before. Click the link in the description and comments now and activate the money-attracting brainwave today. What is coming toward you carries the gentleness of His love, and it will not arrive with confusion or heaviness, because what comes from God always brings peace, even before it brings change. You will recognize it not by signs or warnings, but by the calm it places in your spirit, a calm that feels steady and grounded, like a quiet assurance that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This kind of peace does not need explanation, and it does not ask for proof, because it comes directly from a place of truth that your soul already understands. There is something deeply comforting about knowing that you do not have to chase what is meant for you, and you do not have to force anything into place, because what belongs to you is already moving toward you with perfect timing and perfect care. God does not rush His plans, and He does not allow anything to arrive before your heart is ready to receive it with understanding and peace. Every delay you experienced was not a denial, but a preparation, a gentle shaping of your spirit, so that what is coming can be held with gratitude instead of fear. You may begin to notice small changes within yourself, a new sense of calm where there used to be restlessness, a quiet confidence where there used to be doubt, and a feeling of lightness that replaces the weight you once carried. These changes are not random, and they are not temporary, because they are part of the preparation for what is about to arrive in your life without warning. This is how God works, not by overwhelming you all at once, but by gently transforming you so that when the moment comes, you are ready to receive it fully. Type yes to affirm. There is no need to look for signs in the outside world, because the most important sign is already within you, growing quietly and steadily as your heart becomes more aligned with God's peace. This inner alignment is what allows you to recognize His work even when it does not appear in obvious ways, because your spirit begins to trust what your eyes cannot yet see. This kind of trust is not forced, and it does not come from effort, but from a deep connection that forms when you allow yourself to rest in His presence without fear. What is approaching you carries a purpose that goes beyond what you can currently understand, and it will not only change your circumstances, but also deepen your connection with God in a way that feels personal and real. It is not just about receiving something new, but about becoming someone who walks with a greater sense of peace, a stronger sense of faith, and a deeper awareness of His presence in every part of your life. This is the kind of transformation that does not fade, because it is rooted in something eternal and unshakable. You are being guided into a space where you no longer need to question whether God is working, because you begin to feel His presence in ways that are undeniable and deeply comforting. This feeling is not based on what you see around you, but on what you experience within you, a quiet assurance that everything is being handled with care and intention. Even when nothing appears to be happening, something meaningful is always unfolding behind the scenes. The absence of signs does not mean the absence of movement, and the lack of warnings does not mean that nothing is coming, because God often chooses to move in ways that protect His plans from interference. This is not to confuse you, but to ensure that what is meant for you arrives exactly as it should, without delay, without disruption, and without anything standing in its way. You are being protected in ways you may not fully realize, and this protection is part of the reason why everything has been unfolding quietly. There is a softness to this moment, a gentle stillness that surrounds you like a quiet embrace, reminding you that you are safe, that you are held, and that you are deeply cared for by a love that does not waver or fade. This love is not distant, and it is not conditional, because it is rooted in something far greater than anything the world can offer. It is constant, steady, and always present, even when you do not actively feel it. As what is approaching comes closer, you will find that your heart becomes even more peaceful, not because everything suddenly changes, but because you begin to trust more deeply in the process that God has been guiding all along. This trust does not come from understanding every detail, but from knowing that you are not alone and that you are being led with care and intention. It is a quiet confidence that grows stronger with time, allowing you to move forward without fear. Type 1111 if you trust in God. You are not required to do anything special to receive what is coming, because it is not something you earn or create, but something that has already been prepared for you with love and purpose. Your role is simply to remain open, to stay calm, and to allow your heart to receive without resistance or doubt. This openness is what allows the blessing to settle gently into your life, bringing with it a sense of peace that feels both new and familiar at the same time. There is no pressure in this moment, and there is no urgency in the way the world defines it, because everything is unfolding in a way that is natural, steady, and perfectly timed. You are not behind, and you are not late, because what is meant for you cannot pass you by, and it cannot be taken from you. God's plans are not fragile, and they are not easily disrupted, because they are guided by a wisdom that sees far beyond what you can currently understand. What you once thought was delay was actually protection, a covering placed over your life so that nothing could disturb what God was carefully preparing to bring into your path. You may have noticed how certain worries slowly began to fade, not because everything around you changed, but because something within you became calmer, steadier, and more anchored in a quiet trust. This shift did not come from effort, and it did not come from forcing yourself to feel better, because it was a gentle work of God's presence settling into your spirit. He has been softening the weight you carried, lifting the pressure you once felt, and replacing it with a peace that does not depend on circumstances to remain. A concealed brainwave once stored in classified files is said to ignite strong prosperity. In just 7 minutes, you can unlock the switch in your mind that draws abundance like a magnet. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate your hidden wealth wave right now. What is approaching does not come to overwhelm you, and it does not come to test your strength, because it is not a burden but a blessing that has been shaped with care and intention. God does not bring something into your life that will break you, and He does not allow anything to arrive before your heart is ready to receive it with calmness and understanding. This is why everything has been unfolding quietly, because the preparation within you was just as important as the arrival itself. There is something deeply beautiful about how God moves when He chooses silence over noise, because in that silence your spirit becomes more sensitive to His presence. You begin to notice the small moments, the gentle thoughts, the soft reminders that you are not alone, even when everything around you feels still. These moments are not empty, and they are not meaningless, because they are filled with a quiet kind of guidance that leads you exactly where you need to be, without confusion. You have been walking through a space where your faith has grown in ways that cannot be easily seen or explained, and this growth is what prepares you for what is about to enter your life without warning. It is not something you could have forced or rushed, because it required time, patience, and a deep connection with God that formed slowly and naturally. This connection is now becoming your strength, allowing you to stand in peace, even when you do not fully understand what is happening around you. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. There is no need to search for signs or to try to predict what is coming, because what is meant for you will arrive in a way that feels clear, calm, and perfectly aligned with your heart. God does not confuse you when He moves, and He does not leave you uncertain about what belongs in your life, because His plans bring clarity and peace together. What is approaching will not create chaos, and it will not bring fear, because it carries the gentle mark of His presence in every part of it. You are stepping into a moment where things begin to feel different, not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a soft and steady way that builds over time. This is how real change happens, not through sudden pressure, but through a quiet unfolding that allows you to adjust, to grow, and to receive without feeling overwhelmed. God understands your heart completely, and He knows exactly how to bring what you need in a way that feels safe and comforting. There were times when you wondered if anything was truly changing, when it felt like you were standing still while everything else moved forward. Yet, even in those moments, you were being positioned, gently guided into a place where you could receive what is now coming without fear or confusion. Nothing was wasted, and no moment was empty, because every step was leading you closer to something that has already been prepared with love. What is arriving carries a sense of restoration, not only in your circumstances but also within your heart, where peace will replace worry and calmness will replace uncertainty. This restoration does not come from outside forces, but from the presence of God working within you, bringing everything back into balance in a way that feels natural and steady. You will begin to notice that things feel lighter, that your thoughts are clearer, and that your spirit feels more at rest than it has in a long time. There is a quiet confidence growing within you, one that does not need to prove itself or seek validation, because it is rooted in a deep trust that God is guiding every step of your journey. This confidence is not loud or forceful, but it is steady and unshakable, allowing you to move forward with peace even when the path ahead is not fully visible. This is the kind of strength that comes from knowing you are supported in ways that go beyond what you can see. Type 1919 to receive miracles. You are not being asked to figure everything out, and you are not expected to understand every detail of what is happening, because what matters most is your willingness to trust and to remain open. God is not asking for perfection, And He is not expecting you to have all the answers, because He knows your heart and He sees your desire to walk in faith. This desire is enough, and it is what allows His work to continue unfolding in your life without resistance. There is something sacred about this moment, something gentle and deeply personal that cannot be fully explained with words, because it is felt more than it is understood. It is the feeling of being held, of being guided, of being cared for in a way that brings comfort, even when nothing around you has visibly changed. This feeling is not temporary, and it is not imagined, because it comes from a place of truth that remains constant and steady. As what is approaching comes closer, you will find that your heart remains calm, not because everything is predictable, but because you have learned to trust the one who is guiding it all. This trust is what allows you to receive without fear, to accept without hesitation, and to move forward without doubt. It is a quiet strength that carries you through every moment, reminding you that you are never alone and never unsupported. You are entering a space where peace becomes your foundation, where calmness becomes your guide, and where trust becomes your strength. This is not something that can be taken from you, because it has been placed within you by God Himself, and it will remain with you as you continue walking forward. What is coming will meet you in this place of peace, and it will settle into your life in a way that feels natural, gentle, and deeply aligned with everything you have been prepared to receive. God does not rush what matters, and He does not allow what is meant for you to arrive before your heart can receive it with peace, clarity, and a calm understanding that does not shake easily. You have been carried through moments where you had to release what you once held tightly, where you had to let go of expectations that no longer fit your journey, and where you slowly learned to trust without needing to control every outcome. This was not easy, and it was not always comfortable, yet it was necessary because what is approaching requires a heart that is open, not burdened, and ready to receive without fear or hesitation. Every step you have taken, even the uncertain ones, has been guiding you toward this moment of quiet readiness. Deep within your brain is a small area tied to wealth and success, once hidden in restricted studies and classified documents. This newly uncovered frequency is helping people exchange financial stress for ease, and God has led you to see this message at this very moment. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brainwave now. There is a difference between something that is forced and something that flows naturally into your life. And what is coming will not feel forced or heavy, because it has been prepared with a gentleness that matches your spirit. God understands your heart in ways no one else can, and He knows exactly how to bring what you need without overwhelming you or creating confusion. This is why there have been no loud signs, no sudden warnings, and no pressure to figure everything out, because what is real and lasting does not need to announce itself loudly to be recognized. You may begin to notice that your thoughts feel clearer, that your emotions feel steadier, and that your heart feels lighter than it once did, even if your surroundings have not changed in obvious ways. This is not something small, and it is not something temporary, because it is the result of God gently reshaping your inner world so that you can stand in peace no matter what is happening around you. This inner peace is what allows you to receive what is coming without fear, because it creates a space where trust can grow naturally. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. There is no need to rush ahead or try to predict what will happen next, because what is meant for you is already on its way, moving with a quiet certainty that does not depend on your effort to reach it. God's timing does not fail, and it does not become delayed by the things you cannot control, because it is guided by a wisdom that sees the full picture, not just the small part you can currently understand. This means you can rest, you can breathe, and you can allow things to unfold without feeling the need to push or force anything into place. You have come through seasons where you felt stretched, where you were asked to grow in ways that felt unfamiliar, and where you had to trust even when you did not feel strong. These seasons were not meant to break you, and they were not meant to leave you uncertain, because they were shaping something within you that would allow you to stand firmly when what is approaching finally arrives. Strength is not always loud, and it is not always visible, but it is present in the quiet resilience that has been growing inside you all along. What is approaching carries a sense of belonging, a feeling that something fits into your life in a way that does not require effort or adjustment, because it aligns naturally with who you are becoming. This alignment is not accidental, and it is not random, because it has been carefully guided by God's hand through every step of your journey. You are not stepping into something unfamiliar without support, because everything that is coming has already been connected to your path in ways you may not have noticed before. There is a gentle reassurance surrounding you right now, like a quiet embrace that reminds you that you are safe, that you are seen, and that you are deeply valued. This reassurance does not come from external confirmation, but from a place within you where God's presence is steady and unchanging. It is this presence that has been guiding you through every uncertain moment, even when you did not fully recognize it at the time. Type 2020 to claim miracles. You are being invited into a deeper level of trust, one that does not rely on visible proof or constant reassurance, but one that rests in the quiet, knowing that God is always working, even when you cannot see the results immediately. This kind of trust brings peace, because it removes the pressure to understand everything and replaces it with a calm acceptance that everything is unfolding as it should. It allows you to move forward without fear, because you are no longer trying to control what is already being guided perfectly. There is something very gentle about the way this moment is unfolding, something that does not disturb your peace but instead deepens it, allowing you to feel more grounded and more connected to God than before. This is not a coincidence, and it is not a temporary feeling, because it is part of the preparation that has been taking place within you over time. You are becoming more aware of His presence, more sensitive to His guidance, and more open to receiving what He has been preparing for you. What is coming will not confuse you, and it will not leave you questioning whether it belongs in your life, because it will carry a clarity that feels natural and steady. You will recognize it not because it stands out loudly, but because it settles into your heart with a sense of peace that feels right. This is how you will know that it is from God, not through signs or warnings, but through the quiet assurance that it brings. You have been guided to this moment with care, with patience, and with a love that has never left your side, even when you felt alone or uncertain. Nothing has been wasted, and no step has been meaningless, because every part of your journey has been leading you here, to a place where you are ready to receive what has been approaching without fear or doubt. This readiness is not something you forced, and it is not something you created on your own, because it has been gently formed within you through every experience you have walked through. You have already come through moments where your strength was tested in quiet ways, where you had to hold on without knowing what was ahead, and where you continued walking even when the path felt uncertain. Those moments were not empty, and they were not without purpose, because they were shaping your heart to recognize peace when it arrives, instead of fear. This preparation is what allows you to receive what is approaching without hesitation, because you have learned to trust what God is doing, even when you cannot see the full picture. There is a deep sense of reassurance surrounding you now, something soft yet steady that reminds you that you are not alone in any part of this journey. This reassurance does not come from visible signs or external confirmation, but from a place within you where God's presence is constant and unchanging. It is in this place that your strength has grown, and it is from this place that your peace now flows, allowing you to remain calm even when everything around you seems still. A 7-second brainwave approach, previously limited to elite groups and stored in classified files, is now available to everyone, and many call it the 30-second miracle. Researchers claim it stimulates a dormant brain center associated with prosperity and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it is removed from the internet again. What is approaching carries a quiet certainty, a feeling that everything is aligning without effort and without confusion, because it is guided by a wisdom far greater than anything you could plan or imagine. You do not need to search for it, and you do not need to prepare in a way that feels forced, because what is meant for you will arrive naturally and settle into your life in a way that feels right. This is how God brings what belongs to you, not through struggle or pressure, but through a gentle unfolding that matches your pace and your heart. Type yes to affirm. There is no need to worry about what you cannot see, because what is hidden is not lost, and what is unseen is still moving with purpose and direction. God often works in ways that are quiet and unnoticed, not to confuse you, but to protect what He is preparing from anything that could disturb it. This protection is not something you have to earn, and it is not something you have to maintain on your own, because it comes from a place of love that is steady and unwavering. You may find that your thoughts are becoming more peaceful, that your heart feels less burdened, and that your spirit is more at rest than it has been in a long time. This is not something small, and it is not something to overlook, because it is a sign that you are being gently aligned with what is approaching.